I played through 50 years of Ultimate Decades in my medieval save file, and in this video I will share with you all of the mods and custom content that I use to make it feel immersive, cozy, magical, and create medieval look but make it lively and not sad beige and brown tones. Golden brown maybe. My mods folder is hefty, so I'm going to separate it in the categories: gameplay mods, retextures and overrides, and building by items. You may notice that I didn't mention cast items like hair, clothing, accessories. That's because I'm going to make a separate video dedicated just to medieval cast. I decided to approach this way because firstly, I have a lot of custom content for medieval period. I feel like it would just overwhelm this video. And second reason, maybe even more important than the first one, for all of the categories that we're going to talk about in this video, those mods I'm going to use not just in the time periods that I'm playing through right now in Ultimate Decades, being late medieval period, but also for centuries to come. I don't see myself swapping overrides gameplay mods anytime soon, even build and buy. But when it comes to clothing, that's going to change with every century, and I think it would be better to make a separate video with cast items for every century. I will try to get it out in a couple of weeks, and I will put the link to that video when it's done in the description or in the pinned comment. I will put timestamps in the description so you can skip around for the parts you're actually interested in, alongside with all of the links. And if I happen to run out of space, check pinned comment. First category that we're going to talk about is gameplay mods. Things that your Sims can do to make it feel medieval. Before we even go into any mods that are specific for medieval historical gameplay, 14th century gameplay, I have to mention MCC. I feel like you need this mod. If you can play with mods, you need MCC. It's not medieval mod, it's essential mod. MCC, or Master Command Center, essentially adds for you a control panel where you can change settings for these games that you normally cannot change. Age, stage durations, autonomy settings. You can also add things like autosave or notifications for different events. A usage that I can think specifically for historical gameplay is allowing children to quit school for playing in times before school. I would say this mod is so in-depth that it needs video on its own about all of the settings you can change and all of the settings that can help you with playing through Ultimate Decades and playing historically. Those videos exist on YouTube from various creators. If you want one specifically from me, I guess tell me about that in the comments. Another mod that's not medieval but just overall very useful just for nicer gameplay experience is UI cheats mod. It allows you to cheat UI, to click on anything on the UI of this game and cheat it. For example, just click on skills, change skills level, click on time of the day or season and change it, delete moodlets with one click, anything that you see on UI. Those are honorable mentions in a way. They're not medieval, but they either very useful or just simply necessary, like MCC. Now for the gameplay mods that are actually medieval or historical. The first ones that I want to start with is medieval cookbook mod, kind of going with it, hunting and foraging mod. They're from the same creator and they work together and they just create very immersive day-to-day life experience for your Sims. This is what medieval cookbook looks like in the game. It's just an object. There is also mod from the same creator called Homestead Helper. Medieval cookbook mod allows you to cook a bunch of medieval recipes. There is different categories. There is also drinks. There is also separate bundles of recipes on creators' Patreon for more fancy dishes, cakes. Homestead Helper allows you to make ingredients if you want to go as far as making your own flour, sugar, salt, hand dyeing wool. And hunting and foraging mod in-game looks like just this little cute signpost, but when you click on it you have different locations: mountains, forests, docks and village, and those different locations have different activities you can do on there. For example, in the forest you can hunt and forage, and those directly tie into medieval cookbook. You can use ingredients for them for cooking with medieval cookbook book. You can use ingredients from them also with regular cooking in The Sims. There is whole foraging skill, whole mechanics with crafting baits for hunting. You can mine in the mountains for crystals and gems and for salt. Then that salt can be used in cooking and dyeing wool. Village is more of an event, fun, or going to the physician, going to the church, shopping, and docks are for fishing. Creator of this mod also has stoves and ovens that are compatible with this mod, and also several other smaller mods that tie into this medieval experience, like needing wood to lighten your fireplaces and stoves, campfire cooking override, and many others, medieval mods, not medieval mods. In my opinion, all these mods together create really lovely experience of day-to-day life, giving you enough to do, especially if you're playing more of like farmers, peasants, and you can download them all or choose ones that you like. In the description down below, I'm going to give you links to the specific mods, but those are also links to the creators' Patreons, and I strongly recommend you to give their pages a scroll, because if you like one thing from a creator, there is very big chance that you would also like something else on their page. Nice soup. Next big gameplay mod that I want to talk about is Royalty mod. Contrary to its name, it adds interactions for all social statuses, not just for royalty, but it also adds the social classes themselves. As you can see, my family right here are peasants. I didn't play in depth with this mod yet, I only recently got it. The creator of this mod has a lot of add-ons, a lot of different versions of this mod for different time periods. These mods have more gameplay in them than some Sims 4 DLCs. As I said, I played very little with the Royalty mod because I started using it only recently. Before that, I was playing with Regency Romance mod. It's a mod from different creator and it's called Regency Romance, but it perfectly works for medieval period too. It also adds social hierarchy and different interactions, different events like balls. I would say in certain scenarios, those two mods can be interchangeable. They're different, but they have some similar functions. Regency Romance also adds social hierarchy, allows you to manage estates, allows you to become a nobility, have balls for example, and also adds jobs for lower classes like being a servant, a governess, becoming a member of the clergy. Now we're going to talk about somewhat smaller mods. From the same creator who made Regency Romance mod, I also use Archery mod. It adds archery skill with ability to practice and hunt and participate in competitions, blacksmithing skill with ability to craft objects, weapon, decor, armor out of different metals, as well as mine those metals. Spinning wheel. This is a functional object that allows your sim to spin thread and yarn that then can be used in cross-stitching and knitting skills. Also the same creator, James Simpson, has multiple of instruments. I in my game, for example, have harp and lute, and they're not just retextures of other instruments. Like this is not a guitar, lute, it's a separate skill, it's a separate music. The harp has its own animation and again skill and music attached to it. Another little function mod is hairbrush. Your sim can brush their hair and it makes their hygiene go up by a little bit. Obviously it doesn't make sense on her braids, but if their hair loose, I think it's just nice a little thing to do. This is Jane Simpson mods that are specifically medieval that I use. The other really big mod of hers that I use that not necessarily medieval, more of a fantasy, it's a Rideable Dragons mod. Doesn't have anything to do with medieval times, but a dragon's big part of my Ultimate Decades playthrough, so it felt almost weird not to mention them. And also on top of Jane Simpson Rideable Dragons mod, I have a retexture for the dragon. They look different in our original mod, less spiky. Moving on from fangirling over Jane Simpson mods to other mods that I use to create a medieval feeling. One mod that you don't really notice when it's working, but you will notice when it's not working, it's Sims stay in their home region. It doesn't seem that big, but when you try to build an immersive world, and let's say I have this family that lives in Handford and Bagley, and then they have a family member that marries and moves out all the way to Moonwood Mill. In my story, Moonwood and Hanford are in different countries, very far away from each other, it would not make sense for me to see that family member around, just walking in the forest of Hanford. So the only Sims you will see walking around here is the Sims that live in Hanford. I would say townies stay in a home region, not necessarily medieval. You can play your normal save file and use this mod and not see Mrs. Crumplebottom in the bar on Sulani, because you can play with the settings of this mod. For example, I can take my Sim Jasper and allow him to appear in different towns, not just in Hanford where he lives. For example, I will decide that maybe he lives in Hanford but he also visits Willow Creek. There is a lot of customizations that you can do with this mod for storytelling and world building. Maybe you have a traveling merchant who can be anywhere, but your farmers can only stay in their little town. Another mod that I use is No Constant Phone, self-explanatory. They still use their phone autonomously, like just take out and look at it, but much less. Also going along with that theme of removing modern behavior from the gameplay, no umbrella mod. I have a list that I'm going through as I'm telling you about the mods, and I put one after another mod. Children can slow dance and children can die of anything. Both related to children, but in very different ways. First one just adds the ability to slow dance, which is cute. Like there is no other purpose for it except it's cute. I don't think I ever used it, but I have it just in case I ever need it. Other one I unfortunately use a lot because I play Ultimate Decades and dice can be cruel. A mod allows children and toddlers to die of anything. That's all it does. You kinda need it for Ultimate Decades. In attempt to lighten up the mood, be anywhere mod. As you can see, I can click on the ground and I have bladder release and they can go and do their thing anywhere. Very useful, very realistic, very functional. I do have chamber pots that just retextured toilets in the house, but those more of for a bad weather day. A couple little functional mods that I have here, you can kind of see a couple of them right here. Mods that add more farm animals. I found sheep, pig and geese and duck. Could not get sheep and pig to work for me unfortunately, but geese and duck work and look really cute. And I just like to have more farm animals. Another little gameplay mod that you can also see here, composting bucket. This is a bucket where you can put your trash, your spoiled food, etc. And over time it turns into compost and your sim can pick up from here a fertilizer that then can be used, that then you can use on the plants. It adds just a little bit more functionality than just having a trash can that looks like a bucket. And last little functional mod that I would like to mention is broom. This mod comes with 3 variations of it. I use this one called Medieval Broom. If you have Bust the Dust, it allows you to clean your house by sweeping it. So you can play with dust turned on, but you can clean without needing electricity or using vacuum. And it has sweeping animation. Another mod that I almost forgot because I don't have cow right now. It's free range animals mod. It allows you to add this little grazing field and shelter markers to your lot and have animals that you normally would need a shed for, like cow or llama, have them without a shelter. The only extra step is that you would need to do, you need to buy your cow from debug, because usually you would buy it by clicking on the shelter, but you can find it in debug really easily. I'm going through this list kind of quickly without going too in depth on any mods. First of all, I know that we have a long list to go through. I hope I'm not going too fast through this list. If you want slower, more in-depth video about any of these mods or all of them, let me know in the comments. In this section of gameplay mods, I would like to make a couple of honorable mentions that not necessarily medieval mods, but I do use them extensively. Control Any Sim mod does exactly what it sounds like, allows you to click on any sim and temporarily control them, and then you can click on them and uncontrol them, as well as allows you to turn your household sims into household NPCs, temporarily not control your household sim. Very useful for storytelling and Ultimate Decades, playing with sims that not in your household but you need them to do something. Townies gain skills mod. I think it's just fun when you meet a townie and they suddenly level 10 in some random skill. It adds a little bit more personality to them. Nap with an infant mod. This mod allows your adult sim nap while giving an infant a nap, so they both raise their energy need, as well as read while giving infant a nap. I just think it's cute and useful. The creator of this mod, Simkatu, also makes a lot of animation overrides mods. Again, I cannot say that any of them are particularly medieval, but they look a lot more natural than default Sims animation, like sitting while watching TV, while reading, while writing. They don't make medieval mods, but they make lifelike mods. Your characters suddenly start to move like people. Now we're going to move to the replacements, overrides, retextures category. Anything that changes the look of your game. Let's start with really big mods that affect whole worlds. I use Pandora Simbox Timeless mod. It does a lot. It removes all of the modern stuff, or like majority of the modern stuff, from the surroundings in the base game world. Either removes or retextures buildings to look more old, removes traffic lights, cars, all of the modern objects from around the lots. It like makes it more clean and more adaptable for any kind of gameplay. That's why timeless and not specifically medieval. I would say I would still have it even if I didn't play Ultimate Decade. Literally called a world decluttering mod, and I cannot agree more with that statement. Another mod in the same kind of manner that I use is called Hanford Hiders. It does very similar stuff but for Hanford on Bagley. It removes static vehicles, street lights, fire hydrants, post boxes, telephone poles, phone booths. It just cleans up Hanford, makes it more natural. I do play in Hanford, so that was very useful for me. It doesn't remove this little gate, which you can see how it removes light post, lamp, but doesn't remove light itself. Kinda none of these mods remove lights. If you have mods that removes cars, you will still have lights from like the lights that cars have at the front. They will still be there, and I don't know if there is mod that removes them. The stuff that I cannot remove with mods, I just cover with trees. Tool mod, honorable mention, tool mod. A specific function for this is it allows you to toggle any object and move it anywhere, even off your lot. And that's how I cover undesirable modern stuff in my medieval world. Another mod that also from the same category called Medieval Windenburg mod. It also removes modern stuff as well as retextures some things. I don't personally use it simply because I don't play in Windenburg, but I know that it exists, and if you play in Windenburg, it may be useful for you. And the last big mod in this category is Dirt Roads Replacement, actually made by the same person who made Royalty mod. Medieval Roads mod overrides roads in base game worlds with dirt roads or mud roads. Now little mods that create older look for the day-to-day life of the Sims. A couple mods related to children. Baby onesies and baby cradles. Baby onesies retextures default onesies in the base game. When baby born, it wears them, as well as it retextures the onesies from Nifty Knitting mod, the ones that your sim can knit themselves, and makes them look old-fashioned. Baby cradles mod retextures default baby cradles, the ones that just spawns when your sim gives birth, as well as adding several new variations that look different for like different social classes. More fancy looking ones, simpler looking ones. I use the simplest looking ones. And another mod for kids is Kids and Toddlers Toys Override. So the default toys from the base game, the ones that look very modern, not going to look modern. For example, this ducky looks like it made out of wood instead of being made out of rubber. For example, this Triceratops actually is a bear now. The llama corn looks like a horse. The teddy bear, this blue bear, looks like a little shield. Not all of them have retextures. Some just work for medieval times, like this little dragon. He doesn't really need anything. I have this alien creature is retextured as an egg. Other overrides that I have in my game is phone to notebook override. So when they do pull out their phone, it looks like a little notebook. Also override for watering can that they use when they do gardening, and override for gardening vacuum and a spray. When they spray for bugs, they use a spray thing, and when they get to the higher levels of gardening skills, they use a vacuum. Also recently found overrides for cleaning spray bottle, a sponge that they use for cleaning. This override makes it look like just a little piece of cloth. And for bar objects, the bottles that bartender uses to, or your sim when they at the bar making drinks, they use those bottles to make drinks and like mix them and throw them in the air. There is also override for all of those. This section will also have honorable mentions. I will go really quickly over those. I used them before I even started Ultimate Decades just to make my game look more pleasing to me. Is no cooking tricks mod. They just don't do tricks when they cook because those annoy me. Hidden highlights. When you hover over your sim, they usually get like a highlight line around them. Don't like that. Have a mod that removes that. No plumb bob. As you can see, this character is selected. They don't have plumb bob over them. Sometimes they have plumb bob, like for occults and club leaders, but that could be just me not updating this mod properly. That doesn't bother me that much because it allows me to see who's an occult sim. So I'm not procrastinating updating my mods. I'm choosing to keep it that way. Also, I have no Z letters when they sleep. I just hate those. I don't think why is that even a thing. As you can see, they sleep, the no Z's. They just sleep normally. Also, no music notes when they fall down because they didn't get to bed on time. I have an override for that animation because I don't like how their butt sticking up. I think what I'm gathering from this list is that I don't like cartoony animations and effects in this game, and I'm trying to get rid of them through the mods. Now we can move on to furniture. I think with this category I don't have much of it. This is not all of the furniture, custom content furniture that I have. This is just what we're going to start with. The reason why I don't have that much of custom content built in by objects is first of all because wherever I do medieval builds that I am going to make a video about and upload it to the gallery, I do it without custom content. More people can download it and play with it. But when I play and build just for characters I play with, I like to use a little. And other reason is there is not really definition of medieval furniture or 14th century furniture. Just simple wooden bed can be in so many centuries. And I don't actually aim for historical accuracy with interior decorating. I wanted to say architecture, but with architecture I try, but with interior decorating, I do put functional in the Sims above historically accurate. So this is a list of custom content furniture that I use to create the vibe. I decided to start with this set. It's all very simple wooden with straw textures on it. It has these beds that you can use separately, frame and mattress. It has a bunch of couches and chairs. Yes, this is couches. This is a couch. This is a love seat. It has an infant crib. This is supposed to be a toddler bed, but it does not work for me. Unfortunately, I would love for this to work. It would be very atmospheric for a child in some poor family just sleep on the floor on the straw mattress. It has various sizes of tables. Yes, this block of hay is a table. It's considered dining table, and you can take various chairs. This chair, yeah, see, like it clips to it, so you can have your hay dining table and chair. Obviously would work better with just a wooden chair. And this big set called Big Barn set. Coming from the same set, judging by the name, if they have separate links, I will give you separate links in description, but they made by the same person as a part of one set. These like bathroom items, these two barrels are sinks, and this is a trash can. And this obviously a toilet. And another is this one called Ye Medieval Peasant Home Life. It has a lot more in it. This is just what I decided to download. This decorative fireplace wood objects, beds. These two like campfire cooking things function as grills. Another big set that I wanted to show you, maybe not very like in-your-face medieval, it's more of a beach castaway surviving themed, but I thought maybe for medieval pirates it could work. That's the thought with which I downloaded. A lot of my build and buy custom content are either big sets or a lot of things downloaded from the same creator. I find that this way it's easier to keep track of them. This is examples of what that castaway furniture looks like. A lot of boat theme. I like this bucket of fish. In the functional objects category, I mentioned a compost bucket from the same person who made compost bucket from Ravaging. There is this well that functions both as a water collector and a sink, so your Sims can come and like wash dishes and hands and drink water from there, but it looks like a well that you can put outside. Another thing that I would like to mention separately, this donkey is functional as a bicycle, so it's bicycle that disguised as a donkey or a pegasus or a horse or a whole carriage. If you don't have what it's called, the DLC with horses, but you want horses, maybe like a prop, maybe just to like ride around occasionally, I feel like this is good alternative. And also a donkey version. I really like the donkey version. I do regularly use this set of furniture. It's not set necessary in terms that it's not one link for everything, but there's like couple smaller sets in here. I call it a set because I think all of this converted from Witcher 3, like a lot of decorative cool stuff like pillows, these decorative kids toys, very detailed looking wardrobes. All of this furniture does have one major downside: it doesn't have swatches. Luckily for me, I do love the covers. They just look so comfy. Okay, moving on from Witcher 3 furniture. I have a couple of thrones. They kind of random. I just downloaded them because I needed a throne for like a royal castle in my Ultimate Decade save. This is the ones that I found and I like red color on them. They do have swatches so you can recolor them, but I like the specific shade of gray and how it's kind of central to the throne and has a gem on top because goth royalty in my Ultimate Decade save and I associate black and red with them. A little section that I set up over here is for laundry stuff. This is a wash tub, Ultimus wash tub that I'm using. I think laundry day wash tub looks kind of okay. It doesn't bother me the way it looks, but it's nice to have another option and a couple of hampers. Let's move on from laundry to the kitchen, because kitchen is a big part of the house and it's kind of difficult to make medieval looking kitchen with what you have in The Sims. So I will show you a couple kitchen sets that I found for myself. This specific countertop, a handmade counter, this is my most used one. I think it looks like the best combination of being old and rustic and kind of rough around the edges while still being Max's match. These countertops are from that big set of furniture called the Big Barn set. I don't use them that much, but they go with that set, textures wise. A lot of different sections you can have, and each one of them also has all of the like end options, corner options, the ones that you usually have with countertop. But the most tricky part for me is fridge, because you need a fridge to be able to cook, but you also kind of need it to not look like a fridge. This Big Barn set also comes with a fridge. Don't like it. What I use is these shelves. This is functional as a fridge, but it looks like just a shelves. It does have swatches, but not really different from each other, just different shades of wood. It doesn't match the textures of other things, but this is the best non-fridge looking fridge that I have. Some other countertops that I think good for creating really old feeling kitchen is this one. They don't even look like countertops. These converted from The Sims Medieval, these three big ones. They have swatches, they have beautiful details on them. This one literally has like a windows and a line over here, and I think they're really good for like richer houses. I have the number of items converted by the same person. There's these bathtubs and these bed frames. I do really like the look of this furniture, but as I already said, for more rich houses, maybe with the exceptions of wooden bathtubs. When I play Ultimate Decades with my main household, who's peasants, I don't even have a proper big bath in their house. They either washing themselves in the sink, having a sponge bath. That actually would be more historically accurate than just heating up a lot of water to take a bath. Or I sending them to wash in a stream through the foraging and hunting mod. The only bath I have in their house is this little thing. It's called toddler wash tub, and this basically bath but only for infants and toddlers. Adults cannot use it, and I find it more convenient. You can wash infants and toddlers just by using cleanup action or cleaning them up in the sink, but I just find it much easier to have this little thing, and also adults cannot use it. Let's look at a couple little things that not part of the sets, but I do really like. I like this rag. It's not medieval, it's very versatile. It's made by a creator on Patreon, Hydra. This rag, the reason why I like it so much, because it's actually like 50 rags. Each swatch is entirely different rag. Different shapes, different colors, patterns. Some of them have tassels, so you're getting literally like 50 different rugs in the swatches of the one. I do really like that because it can get really overwhelming with how long your list of items in this game can be, even without any mods, even without having all of the DLCs. So I feel like it's really nice to have items that like one item but with a bunch of swatches. I appreciate those. These two rugs, okay, this scattered leaf pile and this rug, actually dance floors. If you want to have a dance floor but you don't want it to look like a dance floor, this is the perfect options. One of them looks like just a rug and another looks like a pile of leaves. Perfect little things. And this is, I think it's a recolor of a werewolf mailbox, if I'm not mistaken, or is it? No, it's not just recolor. It looks slightly different. It looks like a rework and like a color. It looks like a better version of Werewolf mailbox. I really like this mailbox. I do, however, most often would use Snowy Escape wall-mounted mailbox because it blends in with the wall and you kind of just don't notice it. Another little set of furniture that I want to show you, but I kind of already mentioned it in the functional gameplay mods. I mentioned the mod called blacksmithing mod, and I just wanted to really quickly show you what you can make, with the exception of the bells, what you can make with that mod. You can also make like swords, nails, spears, a lot of different stuff, but this is more like interior decorating objects that you can make. You can make different decorations, shelves for the walls, chest, and this is functional chest. This is storage item, a chair, pile of ingots, I guess, a whole fireplace, a table, and a bench. Also from the same creator, they have these bells. This is kind of a function bell. It makes sound, but the reason why I decided to show it right here, I wish they would make these bells craftable with blacksmithing mod. Wouldn't it make sense to go like maybe on level 10 you can make a church bell? Another little set that I have is this one, specifically made for church. It also comes with an organ. I forgot it. Hold on. Forgot like is the biggest item from the set. If you furnish in a church, I will probably use it in the future. Right now I have medieval church without custom content, but it's very humble church. Maybe when I decide to make a bit bougier one, I will resort to using custom content. This is another set of furniture that I think would be better for more rich houses. I especially love the curtains, and it all obviously comes in matching swatches, but I don't think I even need to say that. Custom content creators always do that. Also, I don't think these curtains categorized as curtains. I think they categorized as wall decor, which is actually better because they don't clip to windows, which means you can place them more freely on the walls. And now you've been probably seeing, like in the corners, this massive pile of stuff that I left for the very end. This all from the same creator. Their name on Patreon is Lily's Palace, and I am in love with the custom content furniture that they're making. I honestly think that you're better off just going to their Patreon page and scrolling and looking for what you specifically need, because there's so many little collections for different like eras, rooms, purposes, and it all looks so good. It all matches. They also do build stuff, not only buy mod stuff, they also windows, doors, different decorative pieces for the building, wallpaper, flooring. It's all separated into sets. One thing that I would like to point out is that their furniture is not necessarily medieval. I would say 20th century, maybe 19th century. I'll find a way to make it work. I will link in the description down below specific sets that I remember I have in my game and I used in various Let's Plays. Kitchen cabinets, tables, chairs, fireplaces. I love these tiled fireplaces. Beds, rugs. They also have like kids play equipment for the outside, swing and monkey bars. They also have stuff for the animals, a chicken cube, a little house for the birdies. Like, look how cute it is. A bee box, a little upside down basket for rabbits to live in. And there is also simpler furniture and more ornate furniture, like these couches for example, all coming in a beautiful swatches. I'm personally a big fan of this tiny infant crib. This thing, for example, functions as a sink, so your sink can wash dishes, hands there. They have several different kitchen sets. This very simple looking one, but you have to look in all of them like little corner cabinets because they all look different and they all look cool. Like, look how many variations is there. This more, I think it's supposed to be an 1840s cabinet looking one. And also this is a kitchen cabinet. Your sim can cook on it. They have this tiny little fridge. And also I have a couple stoves from them. I don't use these stoves because I'm in 14th century right now in my ultimate decades. They have a lot of little things like jugs and jars and coffee grinder and baskets with spices and just big baskets with potatoes, shoes. All of these little details that go together so well and help you to create like really homey feel. I like this tray. I like this shelf that I put the tray on. Look at it. Come here. Look at this. This is a little tablecloth and it's separate from the table, so you can put it on different tables. And this little lace tablecloth, also you can put it on any table you would like. But not just that, it also changes shapes. It can be circular, it can be square, it can be long. It has various patterns. It can be oval. It's so beautiful. They also have different rugs. This is a toy box for children, and this is a, activity table for children, where they can sit and draw pictures. And I just love how simple it is. And as I said, a bunch of details. Like a dried corn hanging from the wall, or onions, or shoes, or jugs and baskets hanging from the wall, ladders. This thing where I just threw a bunch of decorative pieces on, actually a bar. It not just looks simple and plain enough to fit in any setting, but it also has bottles that you actually have in the Sims, so it matches other stuff in the game. This item is candle making station. It matches with everything else that this creator makes, and I think it looks beautiful. I use it all the time in my Ultimate Decades because my main household makes their own candles. I don't use candles from buy mod that don't burn. And it's all in attention to little details. For example, with these paintings, I love how they hang tilted from the wall. It makes them look more real. And the same for mirror. And I also love how little this mirror is. A lot more realistic to have this small little guy than have a huge mirror. And also in build category, the same creator has a whole bunch of stuff, like for example, roof details, a roof paint, a wall paint, and that's the only ones that I have. As I said, they have a bunch more on their page. I downloaded the ones that I thought may work with medieval time period. I love these details for the corners. If you want to make a log cabin, this would look so nice. A little support thingy. Also have fans from them. I really like this fence. And another fence that I have is from that fishing set, castaway set. Also from Lily's Palace, I have various doors, which I do use in my Ultimate Decades playthrough. Some of them open, some of them closed. They have details like this for the roof. I also wanted to show you windows and doors that I use for my medieval builds. I don't have many custom content variations of those, but the ones that I've been using a lot lately is this set, Ye Medieval Linga window, and it has a bunch of windows in the set with shutters opened and closed. I really enjoy this set and gives you enough variety. Okay, I think that concludes build and buy section of this video, and with that the whole video. As I mentioned already, I'm going to make separate video for CAS items like clothing, accessories and hair. I will try to get it out in a couple of weeks, and I will put it in the description. Link to that video in the description under this video, and also let's do in the pinned comment for easy navigation. If link isn't there, that means that I did not made it yet. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, don't forget to leave it a like. Share in the comments your favorite custom content creators or specific items that you use for medieval and historical gameplay. But if you're after medieval builds without any custom content, you can find some of those on my gallery page. If you want to see all of the mods that I was talking about in this video in the game in action, you can check out my Ultimate Decades playlist as well as Black Widow playlist. Black Widow is much shorter and a lot more chaotic, and Ultimate Decades is a legacy type of challenge. So it's long, in depth, at moments cozy, at moments tragic. But maybe that will become your new binge watch. It already has over 40 episodes.